Well, I don't know how you follow that, but thank you, Dick. It's a pleasure to work with you up in the booth. We talk baseball, we talk maple syrup, and we talk the origins of the Canadian alphabet, and anything else that comes up. It's a pleasure to work with you, my friend. And I don't think there's a bigger fan in this state of the Minnesota Twins than you. Thank you. Well, if I knew anything at 5 years old, I knew I didn't want to be a public speaker. Yet here I am. I'll say thank you to Carl and Eloise Pollets, who are no longer with us, but I guarantee they'll be proud of what they see here tonight. It's a beautiful ballpark, and the legacy they built here in Minnesota lives on through the rest of the Pollets family. I also thank them for having me here, for having a day like this. It truly is humbling. I'd like to thank Dave St. Peter for putting this together, starting this, getting all these great Hall of Famers together, former teammates, family. It's an honor to be a Minnesota Twin. To Terry Ryan, who was the general manager when I was drafted, I truly believe that you took every young man that came into your organization and took it as your responsibility to look after them personally. You knew you were taking somebody's son, and you were responsible for the development of that young man, not only as a baseball player, but as a human being. And I thank you for that. And to Bill Smith, also, I'm very fortunate. I played for one manager here in Minnesota, and I had two general managers. It really was such a stable environment, player development, promoting from within, and I was so glad when you were able to take over for Terry. I say thank you for the teams that we put together. You were such a big part of that. And to the player development staff, Jim Rance, fellow Hall of Famer. Feels weird to say fellow at this point, but to Jim Rance, there's so much development that goes on in the minor leagues. You know, you have the draft in the NFL, guys come out of college, they make an impact right away. When you go through the minor leagues in baseball, you're lucky if you make it up in 5 years. There's so much development that goes on, and I'm so fortunate that I was a Minnesota Twin for that part of my development. I got to learn from great coaches, from Hall of Famers. I got to talk hitting with Harmon Killebrew, one of the greatest home run hitters of all time, and an even better person. I got to talk hitting with Rod Carew, who now has a trophy named after him, which is absolutely incredible. To think of the people that I learned from in this organization. I learned base running from Paul Molitor. He made base running interesting. To all the coaches in the minor leagues, there's rumors that I maybe blew out a couple of elbows because there was nobody that took more batting practice than I did. And I don't think more ground balls. I appreciate all the coaches, the development staff, for helping me get to the major league level. I wouldn't be here without you. Ricardo Ingram, no longer with us. My coach at A-ball, we miss you. Stelly, we miss you. Big fella, we wish you were here with us. Give us a little laugh, a little chuckle, put a smile on our face. There's important people behind the scenes that sometimes you don't get to see. Big fella was one of those guys that gave everything he had to this organization. Thank you, big fella. To my scout, Howie Norsetter, who came and saw me play in Parksville, British Columbia, in a tournament. He watched the home run derby, And then the home run derby's going on, and I'm hitting balls in high school, and there's some guy standing out behind the right field fence, walking off. I figure he's just looking for souvenir balls, whatever he is. Turns out he was a scout for the Minnesota Twins, and he came up to me after the home run derby, said, I walked that off. That ball, you hit it about 400 feet. You always hit that ball that far? I was 17 years old, and I gave him a, I don't know, probably. And that led to my drafting by the Minnesota Twins, so thank you, Howie. Just come out. This story needs to be a little more animated. I got to learn how to play first base from a two-time World Series champion manager. And I'm thankful for that every day. TK taught me so many lessons about how to prepare, about how to be professional, about how to be ready from the second you step on the field. Because he wanted to know who he could count on when the game was on the line in the ninth inning. So I had my own personal coach at first base in spring training. Early mornings, I'm out there before everybody else is out there. Thousands of ground balls with TK, working on footwork, working on everything. So we go out there one day. TK looks at me. You ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. And he's a wizard with the fungo. And I'm out there, first ball, psh, clank, eats me up. Fungo goes up in the air. What am I doing out here with you? You said you were ready. And this goes on for a while. And then he comes out, and he had such a way of getting his point across. It resonated with me so well. And he said, I knew you were going to miss that ball. I said, okay. You know how I knew you were going to miss that ball? I said, nope. The grass is wet. As soon as I hit that ball, I knew that that ball was going to skip. You weren't going to catch it clean. You weren't going to clank it. So that was the first lesson. So the next day we go out there, and I think I'm ready. TK looks at me. Are you ready? Yeah. What do you notice? The grass is wet. He goes, nah, check the flags. The wind's going like that. You get in the game today, pop-up's going to go way over your head. So from that moment on, every time I stepped on the field, I checked the grass, I checked the wind, and I was prepared because of you. And I thank you for all our time together on that backfield. Newman, my first manager, Al Newman, World Series champion. Don't you start, you're going to get me going. I showed up as an 18-year-old kid. I flew down to Fort Myers, Florida on the 4th of July. My first manager in professional baseball was Al Newman. And I remember we were in the old building on the complex at Fort Myers, and we had this conference, and Newman's talking about how he was in the World Series, and he's having a conversation on the bench, and he can't hear the guy next to him because it's so loud in the dome. And I wanted that. So he caught my attention. And then he looked around the room, and he said, who's it going to be? And I remember this like it was yesterday. And I'm thinking to myself, it's going to be me. He said, somebody in this room is going to play in the big leagues. And Newman, there was more than one of us that made it to the big leagues, and you had a huge impact on my career. Thank you, Newman. Gardy, I can't make eye contact because you start crying, I'm going to start crying. Much like the example that Terry Ryan set for the organization, every player that played under you, you treated like a son. You loved them like a son, and if they gave you everything you had, you gave them everything back. You did that for me. We had a meeting in 2006 in Seattle that not only changed my career, but also changed the course of my life. You told me that you expected more out of me. And you let me know what I was doing wasn't acceptable, that I needed to be a professional, I needed to be accountable to my teammates, to you, and to the fans. And you helped me get the most out of myself. And I have a vivid memory of you tossing your hat up in the air, kicking dirt on home plate, because you always had our back. I'm glad that you were the only manager that I ever played for the Minnesota Twins. Thank you, Gardy. All right, JoJo, here we go. Joe Vavra. There's only one person to throw me more batting practice than you, and that's my dad. We spent more time in the batting cage, in the video room, than any hitting coach ever signed up for. You were a psychiatrist, you were a sports psychologist, you were a friend, you were a mentor, you were my pitcher in that home run derby that we watched, and you coached some great talents. I'm thankful that you changed my career because you believed in me when I had trouble believing in myself. You were in my corner, pushing me, telling me all the work we were doing was going to pay off. Even when I was hitting 220 in June, you still told me it was going to be a great year. And I don't know how I would have done it without you. Thank you, Joe. To my home country of Canada, to Greg Hamilton, the Baseball Canada, I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for everything you provided me with as far as opportunities goes, and the honor of wearing your country's colors and jersey across your chest. It truly was an honor every time I got to represent my country. And that path was paved by Ferguson Jenkins, Hall of Famer Larry Walker, and my friend Corey Koski. Kos, you were there when I needed you. You were there when I got drafted. You loaded me up with batting gloves, some bats, and you kept an eye on me. And then when I came up to the big leagues, you looked out for me like your little brother. You took me to buy some clothes in Kansas City because you didn't think I was dressing right. But you were there. You went through the concussion stuff first, and you were there every time I called. You had my back, and I thank you for helping me get through that. I couldn't have done it without you. I grew up in New Westminster, British Columbia. Not exactly a baseball hotbed. Hockey's the #1 sport. Lacrosse is the #2 sport. And all my friends that played lacrosse growing up made fun of me because I played baseball. I think I got the last laugh. But I'm thankful for when and where I was born, because I had fields to play on, I had safe schools to go to, and I had opportunity, and I had friends. And I wouldn't be here without those friends today. We pushed each other. We played every game imaginable. We competed. And I share this with you guys. I'm so proud to say that I'm from New Westminster. Thanks, boys. Cheers. I promise there's only like 20 minutes left, so we're... The trainers, we spent far too much time together, but I'm thankful for that time. Proom, Tony Leo, even Perry. We had a relationship that was built on time spent together, but it was also built on trust. I spent so much time in that training room, almost more with you guys than I did my teammates. But you always had my best interest in mind. You're always trying to find a way to help me get back out on the field. And I'm thankful for you guys for taking care of me. The same line, the team doctors. We also spent far too much time together. But much like our training staff, you have my best interest in heart. You helped me get back out on the field, through the surgeries, through the concussions, through all the ups and downs. I'm thankful for you, that you were there to take care of me. All right, boys. To my teammates, I thank you for always holding me accountable, for letting me know that sometimes what I was doing wasn't good enough. I'm standing here because of success, yes, but there's also things that I did that you guys checked me on. Nikki, I remember we were playing the Cardinals in spring training. This isn't a good story about me. This is a bad story. But this is a good story about my teammates. I had a back injury the year before. It rained for a couple hours. I had a little diva in me, so I went into Gardy's office, and, a little afraid of going out on that field, don't want to re-injure the back. So Gardy takes me out of the lineup. He's not going to put somebody in there who's not comfortable. Well, about 5 minutes later, Nikki, you got word of this. And you came over and you blew me up. And it was the only time I've ever heard you call me superstar. And it wasn't a compliment. You said, "You're too much of a superstar, you can't play? Albert Pujols is over there playing and you can't play first base?" And I love you, brother, because that's what we had on our teams. We kept each other in check. We knew that nobody was bigger than the team, and we played for each other. Thanks, Nikki. Tori, we talked about this earlier. You're like a big brother. Sometimes brothers fight. Sometimes brothers have a good right cross. Isn't that right, Nikki? You took care of me when I came up. You looked out for me, you took me under your wing, and you showed me what work looked like. You took me in that weight room. You showed me what it took to get prepared to play Major League Baseball every day, and I thank you. To Mike Redmond, who's in Colorado right now, my breakfast in the Dome and those day games would have been a lot more enjoyable without your sausage and my bacon. But we love you, Red. You were the funniest teammate I've ever played with, and I wish you were here sharing this with us. Cuddy, we still have good ball talk. 1 o'clock in the morning, we'll get done watching the game. I'll send Cuddy off a text, some rant about something that happened in the game. And we did that throughout our entire career. Cuddy, you said it earlier, you don't think you could have been the player you were without your teammates. I couldn't have been the player I was without you. Thank you, Cuddy. Johan Santana, happy birthday. Every day you showed up to the field, you walked in the clubhouse, you said happy birthday. And you fooled me for like 3 months straight. But it's right. Every day in the big leagues is like your birthday. And you had as much fun. You and Carlos Silva showed me what it meant to have fun off the field. Even when I come into the locker room and my clothes would be all over the place from you two hooligans playing wiffle ball, knocking all our stuff down. And I'm mad because I just snapped a bat, rolled over, hit into a double play, and now I can't find anything because you're looking for your wiffle ball in my locker. But you showed me, truthfully, what it meant to enjoy this game. You're the greatest pitcher I ever played with, and you deserve not only to be in this Hall of Fame, but the National Baseball Hall of Fame. To all the boys in the bullpen, Joe Nathan, Matty Greer, who's not with us, Jesse Crane's at a wedding, Juan Rincon, and the list of all the guys in the bullpen. You made our team so much better. You made those games shorter. And I knew when you were on that mound, that ball game was over if we had the lead. It was an honor to be your teammate. I know we're running out of time, so Joe, I'll try not to make this too long. You were younger than me. You were 2 years younger than me, but I looked up to you. You handled yourself from the first day you got in professional baseball as well as anyone could have. You were first overall pick. Everybody knew you everywhere you went. Yet, every one of those interactions, I never saw you treat someone badly, give someone a bad time. You always had time for everyone. And you reminded me how important it was to be able to interact with the fans because you grew up here and you knew what these fans mean to this ball club. We have so many great memories together, and I look forward to making many more on the golf course. It's been a pleasure to be your teammate, my friend. Thank you. I wouldn't be here without my teammates. They taught me so many lessons. What it means to be as happy for the guy sitting next to you and his success as you are your own. That's the biggest part of being a team. It's a very easy game to become selfish in. But when you have teammates like you guys, it seems pretty simple. I thank you guys truly for helping me become the player and the man that is standing here now. Hot Rod, Adam, Nate, all the boys in the clubhouse, you truly are the backbone to any organization. You guys work long hours. You guys are incredible. And I'll never forget our late nights, listen to John LaJoy, and one of you occasionally having to drive me home in my car. Some rough nights, some wiffle ball in the dome. We had fun. I love you guys. Thank you. Mom, you showed me what hard work looked like. You're an example of dedication to your family, to your kids. You went back, got your college degree while you were working and raising two boys. You truly showed me what hard work looked like and it meant. I can't go any further because I'm going to tear up. Thank you, Mom. Dad, thank you for all the batting practice. Some of my best memories growing up are those afternoons we spent at Moody Park throwing batting practice hour after hour. I don't know how you never got tired. You always had time to throw to me when I wanted to hit. There was not really enough hours in the day for how much I wanted to hit. We rode this roller coaster together. You listened to the games on the radio, through the internet, back before anything was on TV, and you knew if I popped out to second that I probably pulled my front shoulder. And then you would call me and let me know about it. You were my first and last hitting coach. I thank you for our time together. I hope I have that with my son one day. All right, I practiced this part a few times. I've never got through it without crying. To the fans. You supported me and you embraced me. You welcomed me as one of your own, and I'll be forever grateful. You welcomed me with love, and you lifted me up when I needed it most. I always say it's the people That's the reason why we live here. There's great people here. The kind of people that will see a stranger stuck in the ditch in a snowstorm. They'll pull over, pop the trunk, pull out a shovel, and dig that person out, drive away, and respond to that thank you with a, "You betcha." I was in that ditch more than once, through the surgeries, the injuries, and the rehabs. All the pain of the playoff losses, the 0 for 21s, the 6 for 60s. You were there for all of it. And you were the ones with the snow shovel digging me out. You always made me feel lucky to be a Minnesota Twin. I'll never forget the moments we shared together. I remember vividly what it was like to look up in the stands and see a Morneau jersey for the first time, even if it did have 27 on the back. I remember the first time I heard MVP chants. That was crazy. That's something you never forget. But the thing I get asked about the most, what's my favorite memory as a Minnesota Twin? It was in the Metrodome in 2006. 55,000 fans watching the end of a Detroit Tigers Kansas City Royal game. We were there with you together, sitting in the dugout. Our season was over, yet we still won the division. And we did a victory lap, and we shared that moment together. That still is my favorite memory to this day. I thank you for being part of that. "2006 was also a special year off the field. It was the year I met my wife, Krista. I don't know how I would have got through all that, injuries, 2010, without you. I'm so glad I got to share this journey with you. It really is special. To my kids, I hope you find something that you love to do as much as I love the game of baseball. It really isn't work if you love showing up every day and getting to do something you love. I truly hope that for you guys. I thank you also for showing me when I got done that there's things worth more loving than the game of baseball. Given the opportunity, I would do it all again. The start, the first, the peak, and the end. The injuries, the derbies, the playoff failures, the whole thing. I've lived a life that people, including myself, have dreamt about. And it was all worth it. Thank you.